Hello and welcome to Thursday Lockdown, Thursday Live. I'm David, What's That Model, and unfortunately, we're going basics today for some very good reasons. One is my two bestest YouTube watchers are on, which is Connor and Paige. Connor and Paige win. Right, so please, mind your P's and Q's in the chat, please, because Natalie tells me off if you lot swear in the chat. So please don't swear in the chat, because Connor and Paige are very young. And we don't want to read that sort of thing, do we not, Connor and Paige? We don't, do we? No. So please don't swear in chat. So we're going back to basics now. Apart from Connor and Paige being in, and they'll find this quite interesting, is my partner in crime at work, Mike, the other butcher. His girlfriend is quite creative and crafty, his partner, but he's not. He used to be. He used to build model kits years and years ago, and he'd like to get back into it. But he was talking to me about, it was just glue everywhere. There was just sticky mess and strands of, because all we had in the day was this stuff. Connor and Paige, that's all we had. When Silly Dave started making models, when dinosaurs were around in the 1970s, that's all we had. You used to get a little tiny tube of this stuff in with a model kit, and it was rubbish. Look at this. It's like something out of Daddy's nose. It's horrible. Look. So, and it used to get everywhere. It was horrible stuff. But things have changed now, and I'm going to explain how we use things that we've got now, because some of the clever stuff now. So there are lots and lots of different glues on the market apart from this stuff, which is like this. That's rubbish. We don't want that. It's horrible stuff. So we never use that. All right, not for model making. It's usable for other things. If the bottom of your shoe's falling off, you can use that and glue it back together. So anyway, let's have a cup of tea. In this Dad's favourite mug. So we'll have a cup of tea. And as you can see, we've got lots and lots of glues around. I'll put this over there. Oh, a cup of tea. Let's stick that on there for a minute out of the way. Right, so glue-wise, we've got things like super glues. We've got things like contact glue. We've got things like PVA glue, hot glue, tacky glue, and we've even got spray glue. Now, it's all useful for different things. It's all useful for different things. Epoxy resin, this stuff's like concrete, rock hard glue. But they're all for different reasons, different things. Now, the way things work, glue works, there's basically two ways glue can work. One is to bond things together, and by bond things together, what it does is you put glue on both sides and you put them together, and the glue goes off and holds the two bits together. All right, that's a bonding glue. You've also got a welding glue. What Malibu? I've not been on the Malibu. I haven't been on the rum all day. Not that Malibu is much of a rum, but yeah. Anyway, this stuff, this is Tamiya extra thin. And this is a welding glue, and what it does, it actually melts the plastic. It's very, very harsh, aggressive stuff. Mine's quite dirty. It's quite aggressive stuff, and it melts plastic. And the beauty of that is it forms the strongest possible bond you can get. Absolutely solid as anything. It's the best glue you can use for model making. But there's a specific way of using it. Now, I tried to explain to Mike how we use it, and I thought the best thing to do was actually show him on here, because he's mad. He watches this as well. He's lunatic. He'll watch this when he gets in on from work, because it's my day off today, and he's in. Bless him. So hope everything's going all right, Mike. You're not getting abused by too many customers. There's different sorts of this. This is a thin one, and this is a normal. It's quite thin, but it's a lot thicker than this. And then there's one that's really thin, which is a Pilgrim lid, which is this one, which is extra thin cement, and it's quick setting stuff. But very important, this stuff is now empty, because when you take a lid off, It's supposed to have a little plasticky ring thing in there, and I didn't realise mine wasn't there. And I put the lid back on, stuck it back in the holder. It's all gone. So I've got to get some more of that. But anyway, how do you use this stuff? I don't know. Let's get rid of some of this anyway. Hot glue. Hot glue. Dirt cheap. £5. You know, I got a really nice one. I got a Loctite one, the big one, and that was like only £8. You know, and they're great. Super glues. Super glues. There's lots of different sorts of super glues. There's even UV ones that you shine a little blue UV light on, it goes off instantly. This is good. This ultra lock, because you get the glue and you also get a debonder. You can unstick it. You can unstick it, Dicky. All right, that's good stuff. Like I said, a different sort of super glue. That's a slow dry. I've never got my head around that. Why would you want a slow dry super glue? The idea of a super glue is to glue something down really quick. That's what I thought. But anyway, slow dry super glue. I've never got my head around it. This one is by Gorilla super glue, and I like this because this, you can take that off and it's got a nozzle, and you can, but if you take this off, it's not coming off now because it's super glue and it's glued itself shut. Oh, what? Anyway, this stuff has got a brush. It's got a brush in it, so you can use it both ways. And then there's other, obviously. There's thin super glues. The one I use for preference when I'm model making, if I have to do super glue, is a super glue gel. It's a lot better. It's just a lot easier to work with than running on super glue. So anyway, let's have a look at how we use different glues. Contactor and extra thin, and the pros and cons. All right. There's tacky glue. Let's get this stuff out of the way. Right. This stuff as well. Tacky glue and PVA glue. Tacky glue is basically just a thicker PVA glue. And PVA glue is, I use a lot for making diorama, building and things like this. But for model making, when you're making a plastic model kit, you need PVA glue. Right? It's the cheapest way of doing it for putting the canopies on aeroplanes and windscreens in cars. Because if you use this stuff, the fumes from this actually melt the surface of the clear plastic and it fogs. It looks like it's all fogged up. No good, don't use that. Use that. You can get canopy glue, which is basically, at the end of the day, where I put it, is basically just a version of that, which is clear PVA glue. It's basically what it is in a posh bottle you put out through the nose for. But don't ever use this, especially not this, when you're using canopies, because it will just ruin it, absolutely ruin the canopy all. You can sand it down and get it all back to looking nice again, but it takes hours and hours and hours and hours, and it's a proverbial pain in the rear end. So I'm not going to use that. Anyway, so we're going to do gluings. That's what we'll do. I'll use, I'm still working on this, the A10 Warthog. So we'll get our box. And we're going back to basics as well. So we won't just talk about glues, let's talk about a few other things as well. Now, same as ever, same as it's always been, all your parts come on sprues, come on plastic runners called sprues, and they're all numbered, and you look in your little instructions and it tells you what part you stick to what part. Really simple. And the kits, some model kits are terrible, the instructions of some of them are terrible, and you think, oh, hang on, so where does it actually go? Was it? And you're like that, and then you're all taking the part. I was like, well, hang on, what, who? Because some of them aren't fantastic. So anyway, we'll have a look at that in a minute. We'll have a look who's in first. We haven't done who's in yet, apart from Conor and Paige, apart from the important people, Conor and Paige. So Nathan, of course, because she's with Conor and Paige. Sarah Jane's in. Hello, Sarah Jane. Who else we got? We got Candy Guy from Mongol. Jeff's in How's America? Jeff. Who else we got? Mayhem's in. Andy's in. Who else we got? Osric's in. This is like the Royal Institute Christmas lecture. It's always like the Royal Institute Christmas lecture, mate. And only with a bit more carnage. Shane's in. Oh, Shane. Hope you're well, mate. He's been very poorly lately, but he's getting better. He's on the mend. Bless him. And that's it so far. Scott's not in yet. He will be. Probably. So we'll have to do a loud noise when he comes in because he's using his headphones at work. Right, let's put some extra light on. That'll adjust in a minute. There we go. Right then. So let's just stick a couple of missiles together because it's just we can do that. We won't bother following the route of the plan. We'll just stick a few missiles together and then I can paint them later on today or tonight. Right, so we'll stick a few ancillary bits together, things and bits and pieces. So we want part number. What? Right, E2 and E1. Right then, E2 and E1. Right then, so let's put that there, get that out of the way. Not super glue flying, put your lids on it. Stick that over there and then read it somewhere. Just stay there. Right. So we want part number E1 and E2. So we find them on the that's better. I can nearly see now. Right, E1 and E2. Right. The worst thing you can possibly do is get your fingers and go wiggle and snap it off. No wiggle. Connor and Paige, you don't wiggle. All right, not with that. All right, you need a pair of side cutters. Now, you could go all posh and expensive and buy a really posh pair. I didn't buy these. These were a Christmas present of a very, very good friend in Australia, Kenneth. And I was chuffed to bits when I got that. Oh my God. I only use these on a Sunday for very posh things because I'm terrified of breaking them. Right, you need side cutters. These are Games Workshop Citadel ones. You can get the Tamiya ones. The Tamiya ones and the Citadel ones are about the sort of ones you want at the end of the day because they're both fantastic tools and they'll last you for years. All right. You could just go to a local hardware store and buy a cheap nasty pair, or you could get some off eBay or the Amazonians. You know. You could even if you're desperate, use an X-Acto knife or a disposable knife to get them off. And back in the day, if you're really in the stum, nail clippers. You can actually take very effectively, he says, things off a sprue with nail clippers if you're desperate. All right, not the best things in the world to use, but if that's all you've got, it's better than doing that. Because believe me, if you do that, you'll just damage what you're trying to get off. So we'll just snip it off. I know it's back to basics. I mean, people like Andy and Jeff and Sarah Jane and Shane, they've been building models for years. This is like teaching them how to suck eggs. So I'm sorry, guys, this is going to be a bit boring for you. But, you know, at the end of the day, the reason we do this is to you know, to try and educate people and help people along a little bit. Now, that's a bit weird. Now, that to me, that little tiny bit there looks like a bit of extra plastic stuck on the end, but it's actually not. So what I suggest you do, whenever you get a part off, we've all done it, even season Ireland, even season models, we've all done it. We've all looked at that and thought, oh, that's a bit of flash or a bit of nub, and snip that off. It's actually part of the kit. So before you before you start snipping bits off, thinking it's flash or just an extra bit, always check your plant and make sure it's not. And that's not. That's actually part of the kit. Right then. So let's experiment, shall we? Shall we use snot? Daddy snot? No. Let's not use daddy snot. Is this one free? Is this one going to work, or is it blocked up? That one's blocked up. And we'll try and unblock him. That's unblocked him. That's a thing with this stuff as well. It blocks him in the tube. So what you can do with this is, because it's got a needle point, you can run it down the length, stick it in the little holy things. Right. Now this stuff is alright. Don't get me wrong. There is nothing fundamentally wrong with this stuff. It does its job. It sticks things together. However, it does have one disadvantage, well, a couple of disadvantages actually, when you compare it to extra thin. And the disadvantage with this is, this isn't a welding cement, this is a contact cement. So that holds it together. The fact that it's gloopy holds the bits together while it sets and goes off. Okay, now that's perfectly fine. That's bonded together, it's glued. All right, leave it 10 minutes and it'll be good as gold. The problem with it is, there's a seam line there, there's a join line. All right, and no matter how much you squeeze that and how much you'll always get that line. All right, now the beauty of this stuff, let's do the same part and we'll use this stuff. So that was screw E. Now luckily there's two of those, and the very same two parts are here. So we'll get our snippy snips and we'll snip them off. Fox is going to mad at me because I've just snipped that really close and I've not left a nub. Fox likes his nubs. Fox does like sanding nubs. Right, so this time we're going to use extra thin. Now, we don't do what we did with that. What we do with extra thin is we put it together without any glue on it whatsoever. We just hold it together. And then what we do, right, this is the clever bit. We use a scientific, we're going to get scientific now. We're going to use a thing called capillary action. And basically what capillary action is you put a liquid in between a thin gap and the liquid will always run around the gap. Right? It's called capillary action. So what you do, you've got a little tiny gap, you literally touch the extra thin to the gap. Right? Wasn't much of a gap on that one actually. Very nice. Just touch the extras into it, and what will happen is it'll go zoom and shoot all the way around. Right. Then what you do is you squeeze it, and you squeeze it and squeeze it and squeeze it. Squeeze it. You've got to squeeze it. All right. Now, Connor and Paige, when you're squeezing it, you might want to get mummy or daddy to squeeze it because you've got to squeeze it quite hard. Then what happens is, because this is melting the plastic, when you're squeezing it, squeeze it, it forces little bits of the plastic out all along that little joint. Okay, and then you leave it to go off. And then what we'll do, when it's all gone off, we squeezed and squeezed and squeezed. Squeezed and squeezed and squeezed a bit more. Right, that's now stuck. All right, so we'll leave that for a couple of minutes, and then we can do. Oh, let's put a bit more in that in. I've not squeezed enough there. Didn't put enough in there. All right. So squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze some more. And what that's doing is all the melted plastic, it's splurging it out. It's called splurge. all out from the join, all right? And then what we can do later on is we can get our sanding stick and we can go sand, and then there'll be no gap. There'll be no gap because you've melted the plastic and you've got rid of the gap altogether because you've filled it in with melted plastic. Clever stuff. Now, the other thing we do is we make a silly stuff called sprue goo. And what sprue goo is all the little extra bits of plastic runner that you get, the sprue, you cut it up into little tiny bits. And when you get a bottle of this that's nearly gone, like this one's nearly gone, you start poking bits of that in, all right, and then put the lid on. Only put little bits in at a time. And put the lid on, and then leave it and give it a shake and leave it, and then take the lid off and poke some more bits in. And you end up with a thing called sprue goo. And what it is melted plastic in a liquid form, or well, a gloopy form. And then when you've got a big gap, you can put some of that in it. You can run some of that in it and leave it to dry, and it will melt both sides again. But you've got lots of plastic. And Scott's in. Hello, Scott. And the nice thing about doing that is you're using the same, especially if you're using the same like company like Tamiya or Revell or Airfix, you're using the same plastic they use to fill in. See? Lynn's saying, oh, good, now I can finally learn how to build a model. Lynn, you're silly. Right, so that's now glued. And what we need is we need a little sanding stick. And what we're going to do, we want one that's a soft foamy one, right? Because we're working on something that's circular, right? Now, if we used a big flat rock hard one, what we'd do is we'd end up losing the shape. We want to keep the shape. So I like to use a smaller, softer one that I can conform and do the circular shape to. Now, once that's painted, you will never ever know that there was a join there because the plastic filled it in. Dun, dun, dun. Clever stuff, see? So clever stuff. Now, the annoying thing is, we can't really do that now. We can do it, we can sand it down, and there might be a little bit of the plastic may fill in some of the little gap. It's not going to be a big gap in all these things anyway. But there you go. And that's basically how you use this stuff. So all you do, you get the two bits of plastic, hold them together loosely, hold that onto where the thing is, and it'll draw the glue in the join, and then you hold it and squeeze it. And that's really simple how you use this stuff. But it's good stuff. And that's it. That's how we use what's going on in chat. Jeff said it's always good to have a fundamentals reinforced as always a factor of technique to be learned. True, Jeff. True, mate. We all, and we all get bad habits. We all get. I've got some terrible bad habits when it comes to model making. Shocking. I've got some terrible bad habits when it comes to life, but now I've got some really bad habits when it comes to model making. Anyway, so that's how we use extras in. Any questions? Because that was quick, actually. It was a bit quicker than I thought I was going to. Any questions in the chattings? No? Anybody? Anybody? We're watching the chat to see if it moves. I think everybody's falling asleep now. Yeah. Andy's the same as me. He has some hellishly bad habits, full stop. Yes. Yes. There's nothing wrong with bad habits, mate. Nothing wrong with them. Anyway, right, so let's have a look at another one. Let's stick some more mescals together. We can use E34 and E35. Oh, there's lots of them. I think, hang on. Where are they at? Oh, there's there. Ah, there. Ah, found them. Right. So remember, snip it off. Now, what should we do it properly this time? We'll snip it off and we'll leave a nub. Right. Now, I don't like leaving nubs on cylinders, which is why I cut that one a bit close earlier. But I know it's not the 100%. It's a bad habit. It's not the 100% correct way of doing it. This is the 100% correct way of doing it. Only I don't like doing it when it comes to cylinders because it's so easy just to mess them up. Right. So what we've got now is we've got lumps of plastic there, which we call in the model making terms a nub. We want to get rid of that. Now, the easiest way of doing it now is to use a very nice pair of nippers, if you've got them, and then you can snip it close. Hold them together. If you try and do this separate, with them separate, you'll sand one down more than the other one, and it won't work. So just hold them together and sand the nubs down. And then they are gone. And we haven't caused the plastic to be stressed and have a white stress mark, which on this is fine because it's going to get painted anyway. And it's going to be underneath, so you're never going to see it anyway. This is the underside. This will be in between the bomb and the wing, so you never see it anyway, but we know it's there. Right, so we've got it off, we've got the nub off. How can Fox do that? Fox can spend 20 minutes on a Sunday talking in chat and sanding. I can't do that. I can't do it. I can't. Right, so let's use this stuff, which is Tamiya normal. Right, now we can't use it like extra thin. It's the same properties in the fact that it's a welding cement and it'll melt the plastic. But all you want to do with this is the same, basically the same principle as a contact adhesive. You just want to run it along. That's a bit much on there. Just run it along the edge, like that. Stunk them together. And then squeeze it. Come on, Paige, what we got to do? Go squeeze! Squeeze it! Squeeze! Nat, are they doing the squeeze bit? Conor Page, whatever you're doing this, you've got to go squeeze like that, all right? Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Oh, there's a cat outside the door. I'm guessing it's a Dottie. Model making cat. One of the two cats. Dottie, shut up. No, shut up. See? Very clever cat. I can't believe that worked. Normally she argues back even more. Right, so we'll give that a sand. It's true what they say in television, you know. Never work with pets and kids. Kids and animals. Right, we'll give that another bit of a sanding. It's getting there. It's boring watching me do this, I know. But we're just going back to basics, that's all we were doing. Going back to basics. Right, and that's that done. That's that stuff. It's actually pretty good stuff, actually. Really good stuff. We like that. And that's how we use our glues. Oh, look at that. Lewis is in. Lewis is in. He's trucking. Lewis is trucking. Is he? Or is he day off? No, he must be out on the road, isn't he, surely? Thursday, he's on the road, isn't he? Unless he's... Oh, I don't know. Sounds like somebody was squeezing the car. Yeah. Oh. Scott said about the work he does. He works for Ortac. He's a jeweler. He polishes. He's got a polisher. You want to see his thumb? It's so highly polished. It's unreal. Scott is the only bloke I know with the most polished thumb. Lewis, you just finished for the day. It's only 2:30 in the afternoon, you lazy ratbag. I don't know. Finished at 2:30. On life of Riley, that bloke's got. What's changed in our Molly cat, who's 70 years old, is a kind of mood today. Yeah. Our two cats are about the same age as that, Shan, actually, 17, 18-year-old. One's quite soft, and that was Dottie, the meowing one outside. She's very soft. And Oddsy is just a total schizo. It's a nut job. Both the kids have said yes to squeeze. There you go. You got to squeeze, and you got to say like that as you're doing it. You got to screw your eyes up, but squeeze, and then you know it's working. Oh, Lewis started at 3 a.m. and he's starting at midnight tonight. Yeah, you keep that, mate. 3 a.m. It's bad enough getting up at 4 a.m., mate. Oh, there's nothing worse than early. Actually, I like it. I like getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, to be honest, and then finishing. I finish work at 3. It's quite nice. It's quite nice, and then you got the rest of the day yourself, then, haven't you? So you get on and do stuff. Anyway, what else should we discuss? Sanders, sanding sticks, and sanders. That's the next thing we can talk about. Right, you can go so cheap it's unreal. You can go so expensive it's unreal. Sanders, lots of sanders. So many different sorts and styles and things and multitudes. If you're just making a basic, your first ever Airfix model kit, and you don't know whether you like model making or not, you can have a go. Get them. Get a packet of them from the pound shop. Just an emery board. Ladies use for nails. Alright, you just got to be careful because it's not foam backed, it's not, they're not very flexible. But if you're just making your first ever bog standard, I'm gonna have a go. I don't want to spend a fortune. That'll do. A sheet of sanding paper of different grits, 2 or 3 different grits, will do. Alright. When you start getting a bit more profit and you want to get into it, then start buying different sanding sticks. Ones with the foam in the middle. Alright. At the end of the day, that's the same as that. it'll do the same job as that, only this is soft and flexible, so it's not going to damage shapes and curves, and you know what I mean. You can get in this, you can, and it will conform to the shape. Whereas this, you can't. You're just doing just up one line, and if you sanded it with that, you'll end up flattening the top, and it wouldn't look circular. But if you use one of these with a nice foamy one, you've got less chance of doing that. You can still do it. I mean, if you stood there for 10 minutes while you're watching the neighbours through the window, what's that old bag like us about doing now? What's it like? And you think, oh no, I've flattened that now, but that right mess. You can. There you go. Andrew's in Biondo. Pack of different grit, wet and dry from Halfords, 15 sheets, £7 to £10. We don't want a chicken dinner. Right. You know, there's so many different sanding sticks, skinny sticks and wedgie sticks, and there's loads. There are loads. Do I recommend any? Yeah, I do, actually. I do. I recommend UMP ones, Ultimate Modelling Product ones, and I also recommend Flory's ones as well. Flory sanders. They're both fantastic sanders. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. UMP, I believe, I may be wrong, but I believe UMP have a slightly bigger range. And Scott, you like the UMP ones, don't you? Where you can, was it Dad? You can buy a big block of it and cut your own shapes out, whatever you want. And UMP do wedgie ones as well. That's a UMP one. What's that one? That's just a, you can actually get, that one is a foam one from the pound shop, ladies' nail section. But best of both worlds with these ones, you've got the skinny stick and an arm one. So sanders are great. Sanders are brilliant. What's that? That's another Ultimate. There's a Flory one. You know. What's that one? Oh, Albion Alice. That's the one we got at Telford last year. I got two. Got them at Telford last year. Freebies. Woo. And they're all different shapes, different sizes, and different grits. And that's what you need. You need 2 or 3 with different grits on. So you'll have 1,000 grit, an 800 grit, a 400 grit, and the more the bit, the finer it is. So get yourself 2 or 3 sanding sticks, you know, for your second and third model kit. But before that, just use them. Or like I say, that one, which is a fun one, but it was from a pound shop, and it's 2 different size grits. You can go extremely posh. Let's put these up here. They're so posh, I haven't even used them yet. There we go. Put them somewhere in a drawer. One of these many drawers. Oh, where did I put them? Too many drawers for me, I'm good. Well, I'm not organised at all today, am I? No, not organised. Not organised at all. Ow, ouch, out. Just stubbed my toe. Oh, I can't find them. Anyway, I got some very posh ones for Christmas last year, or Kenneth. They're that posh. They're that posh and that expensive. Yeah, oh, found some. These ones. 4,000, 2,500, 1,500, 1,000 grit. Soft sanding sponge sticks, full set. Even down to 220 grit. I haven't even opened them yet. I'm telling you, 4,000 grit. That's like, I can't even feel that. That's like glass. It's like silk. That'd be like sanding with silk. But there you go. I haven't even used them yet. I'm terrified to use it. So push. Infinite sanders, infinite model sanders. So I will, Kenneth, when you watch this, I will use them eventually, mate. But they are so posh and so nice, I don't want to get dirty. Anyway, that's sanding sticks. What else is there? What else? Craft knives. Let's talk about craft knives. You can buy, let's say, any X-Acto knives with the disposable blades. Are great. But for your first and second model kits and that, when you don't want to, you know, or you're on a budget and you haven't got lots of money, there's nothing wrong with these. A packet of disposable ones, and they'll last you for years. There's nothing wrong with them. They're perfectly serviceable. The other thing I recommend you buy, put them there for a minute. The other thing, there's a couple of things I recommend you would buy as well, is tweezers. All right, get yourself a pair of tweezers when you're first starting. Get yourself a set of tweezers with different ends. All right, and then when you put, it'll happen. You'll pick a piece up and it'll go bing, and it's gone, and it's gone that way, or it's gone that way, or that way, and you're never going to find it. It's gone. You've lost it. The carpet monster has eaten it. All right. The other thing I recommend you to buy is one of these. This is a pin vise. Quick! This sussed me out. It's a pin vise. This is a Citadel one from Games Workshop. It's rather nice. I have some others dotted around, but yeah, they're alright. It's not a bad one actually. The Citadel one is quite nice. It's very comfy. It's got a flexible ball thing at the end, and it's quite comfy to use. So that's that, and that's basically the basic equipment. That's what you need, really. You don't want to don't go mad when you're first starting this hobby. Don't go mad and spend a fortune. You never know. You might not like it. You might think, I don't like this. It's boring, and never do it again. You spent all that money for what? For 10 quid. In fact, I reckon I've proved it. Actually, if you look back at my older videos, you can buy a model kit, all the bits you need to make it, for less than 20 quid. When I first started this series, my YouTube channel, that's what it was based on. It was based on new model makers and young model makers with a very, very limited budget. And you can use household tools like nail clippers. Like every household's got a Stanley knife of some description. Every household's got a pair of tweezers in it. You know, just look in your mum's or your wife's makeup stuff. They'll have tweezers in there. You know, look in your shed. You've got a craft knife. You know, you don't have to spend a fortune, but it's nice to have nice tools. But do it at the end. Don't do it when you start. And that's about it, really. We've discussed pretty much all the basics. Anybody else got any other basic tools that they would recommend? Apart from paintbrushes, we haven't touched paintbrushes. I mean, we could have a quick look through paintbrushes. I mean, I've quite enough of the bleeding thing. But paintbrushes, when you're first starting, if you're in the UK, if you go to a place, if you're lucky enough, and your town or city that you live in has a shop called The Works, they do these Bollmeyer brushes in The Works, and they're 4 or 5 brushes in a pack for a couple of quid. There's absolutely nothing wrong with Bollmeyer brushes. They're fantastic. You've got lots of different sets, different ones, different shapes and different sizes. And for a run-of-the-mill, ordinary, bog standard modelling brush or painting brush, these are fine, absolutely fine. You can go posh. You can go to your local model shop, and you can get all posh for your third or fourth model kit, and you can buy yourself a set of these. These are army painter brushes, and I personally, apart from obviously Winsor & Newton Series 7s and Broken Toad and posh brushes, these are pound for pound, I reckon, one of the best brushes you can buy, and that's the army painter ones. The Games Workshop ones are good brushes. They're all right. Fox is in. Fox is in. Fox, what's mine? Pins. Yes, yes, Fox. You're a genius. See, this is why I like Fox. He comes in, doesn't say anything, and then boom, it's with the knowledge. Fox is the man with the knowledge. Pins. I've got some somewhere. I've got a little tub of them somewhere. Somewhere, I have pins. Yes. Now, yeah. Look, pins. Get yourself some pins. Because, like Fox says, yeah, brilliant. If you've got your super glue and your nozzle's blocked, pins. Obviously, you don't want to stab yourself in the thumb with them. Fox has done that, you know. In fact, it's probably one of the few things I haven't seen him stab. Actually, I haven't seen you stab yourself with a pin yet. Okay. We've seen you stab yourself with everything else, just not a pin. We haven't seen him stab himself with one of these. Never seen him stab himself with a pin yet. I probably jinxed him now. Sorry, Fox. Oops. I probably just jinxed Fox. Never mind. He's fine. He'll be all right. He'll only ouch for a second. He'll be fine. Tea. Look, in the blue mug. Sorry, Dad. I've got my blue mug. So, anyway, I'm wondering, Fox, as you're here, are you streaming this week? What are you planning to do this week? You're going to put it in chat now. You're going to tell everybody, because if you're going to watch anybody, I like doing this. I like doing my YouTube live and that, but I'm rubbish at it. If you want to see a professional at it, go and watch Fox. Fox is a professional at it. I just do it for poos and giggles. So, Fox, what are you doing this? Are you doing anything after this? Are you going to be streaming? Maybe some gaming going on? I'm gaming after this. I'm going to play World of Warcraft again. I know you don't like World of Warcraft, but I do. I like it. Rubber bands. Lynn's saying rubber bands. Yes. Rubber bands. Elastic bands are fantastic for holding, especially if you're making an aircraft or a boat, for holding the hulls together, or with a fuselage when you make an airplane. Elastic bands. Good call, Lynn. I knew I could rely on Lynn in a crisis. All right. Elastic bands. Get yourself some elastic bands. You can't go wrong with elastic bands. What else would I recommend? Clamps. You can get clamps. There are little tiny. I've got some somewhere. They're dotted around all over the place. Little tiny spring clamps. If you can't do that, pegs. Go and nick some pegs. Right. Fox is not streaming today. He's busy filming E-Models Kit Review. Until Sunday. Okay, mate. No Skyrim or Fallout. Well, that's a shame. Never mind. So Fox is on Sunday. Don't forget, everybody. We'll do model making times in a bit because it's knocking on. It's like 10 to. What are you? Oh, you've got that weird looking vehicle thing, haven't you? With all angles and wedges and shapes. Some, I don't know, some troop carrying thing or something. I don't know. I don't know what I've looked at. I can't remember what it's called now. What's it called, Fox? It's a weird looking shape. It looks like a Warhammer vehicle, but it's not. You could orc that up, you know, like you could really throw him a curveball. You could. Pete Mate's going to hate you if you do it, but he's going to throw him a curveball. Really Warhammer that up. See, Jeff's saying there. Big SDKF 247. It does still look futuristic, yeah. They do. It was the angles, wasn't it? Everything, you know. Let's make everything at a steep angle and then shells bounce off it so they penetrate. I'm not streaming often. I've got things to do. I can't talk for hours and hours and hours. I really can't. An hour, and I'm thinking, oh God. And then I switch it. I think, oh God. Oh, I got through another one. Lynn's off all week. Oh, see, she was looking forward to watching your shows. Oh, you just upset Lynn now. Blue Tack. Sarah Jane, another cracking. Well done, Sarah Jane. Blue Tack. Yes. Yes, we've all got bits of blue cat. Well, I had a big blob bit dotted here a minute ago. Well, the other day. Blue Tack. Blue Tack's a good call. A good call. Yes, Blue Tack. Masking tape. Masking tapes. If you haven't got elastic bands and you want to fasten a bit of fuselage together, masking tape them together while the glue goes off. Use that. Nothing wrong with that. Anybody else got any cocktail sticks? Obviously, cocktail sticks got a myriad of uses. Cocktail sticks. They're always good to have when you first start modelling. Get yourself some very cheap. I think I paid 50 pence for them. The whole thing of it. You know, dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. Things you've got lying around your house you can use for model making. Them things. Cotton buds. We call them cotton buds in the UK. In America, they call them Q-tips. Q-tips. I can't remember what it was in colonial. Q-tips. Q-tips in America. Anything else? What can we think of? There's Andy. Pegs. Obviously, pegs from just go and nick some pegs off the washing line. They're good for holding things together as well, for clamping things together. And that's basically, that'd be a good kit to start with, wouldn't it, really? Things we just discussed there. You don't have to go mad, but it's always nice to. Anyway, so let's have a look then at the revised model making time. So, as far as I'm aware, Chris is on at 7 o'clock tonight with his midweek makings, as far as I'm aware. Lewis, can you type in chat what you're doing this week? Because I've lost track. Obviously, Natalie and that are doing dexterous, aren't they? On a Friday. And Colin and Dave. Have a look on Festa's as well. Have a look on Festa's Facebook site and see what Colin and Dave are going to be doing this week. Because of lockdown, people are doing like ad hoc things, and let's do it. Come on, let's go online. Just go live now, and well, you know, if you can afford a photo etch bending tool, highly recommended. Yeah, Scott, but that's a bit advanced. Yeah, Scott's right. A photo etch bending tool is a must. Once you start getting into your 5th or 6th model and you start buying posher kits and you've got photo etch with it, then a bending tool is an absolute must have, because trying to do it without is a nightmare and you will just make a total mess of it. The best thing, one of the best things I ever bought, I must admit, is when we went to Telford. I bought a photo etch bending tool, and I'll hold my hand up and admit it's one of the better tools I've ever bought, actually. And it was an RP Tools one. It was a posh one. I got told off for spending too much pennies, but never mind. Anyway, model making times. So, Chris tonight on, what did I put on Wednesday? Thursday evening. Chris is on at 8. Isn't it? Right. Fox is not, things are not going to fall out of Fox this Friday. He's not wearing Russian boxer shorts. I will carry on that joke, but Connor and Paige are in. Something to do with Chernobyl fallout. Anyway, right. Friday, Natalie is at 8 o'clock with her. In fact, Jackie as well, isn't it? Dexterous crafting. Fox is no longer this week. Only for this week only. Special offer, 1 week only. Fox is not doing Skyrim at 3 o'clock on Saturday. However, hopefully he will be back the following Saturday. Saturday evening is the crash with James and Carl and Lewis and Chris. Lewis, have you put in? It's not Lewis isn't streaming as well. Good gracious. The community is falling apart. Oh my God. Oh, shocking. So anyway, Sunday then is Models for Heroes in the morning at 9, followed by James with Model Officers Mess, followed very quickly then at 12:30 by Colin and Dave for the Sunday brunch, which I still say I like watching Fox. I must admit, Fox is very good, but for funniness, for the comedy, you can't beat Colin and Dave on a Sunday. It is a very funny show and worth watching. So that's my recommendation for this week. Colin and Dave on Sunday. I think it's going to be funny this week. I got a funny feeling it's going to be a funny show this week. Anyway, so Sunday, Fox is back on Sunday with his Warhammer. What are you building? What are you making, Fox? Let us know. Preempt them. Get them all excited in the chat. We'll build it up. We'll build it up. It's like the most amazing Warhammer kit in the world ever. It's not, is it? It's Space Marines again, isn't it? But tell them what it is. Tell them what it is. You're doing on Sunday. So Fox on at 3:00. Dad probably will not be on Sunday at 6:15. We'll let you know how that goes. What's happening with that? Obviously, we know what's happened with Dad, bless him, and we all send him our love and our best. And we'll see what happens. Dad may be on at 6:15 on Sunday. He may not. If he's not, it's understandable. Bless him. So one of us may do it. One of us may just jump in the spot. We'll probably discuss it on Messenger between us all. Need more thumbs up? I don't need any thumbs up. Sarah Jane, it's fine. It's fine. I don't do this for kicks or monetization or anything like that. It's never going to happen with model making stuff, love. It's a niche market. I'm not bothered about the algorithms. All I care about is people that are interested come in and have a look, and it's fine. But thank you for saying people stick your thumb up, Dave. All right, it's fine. I do it 20k as much as I can. So where were we? Dad, Chris and or Ted. Ted may be doing things this week as well. Chris or Ted on Sunday at 8. I've gone all over the place here now, aren't I? Look, E-Models at 9:00 on Monday. Tuesday, it's Phil with Primetime Modelling, and I'll probably be there. Dad might be there. We'll probably do a few more picture quizzes. I quite like that. I don't know about you lot, but Phil's, when he does that picture quiz now, I quite like that. That's quite challenging. I like to gets my brain working. Not that it's much of a brain. And that's it, really. All I'd say, just check on the Facebooks and the YouTubes and see if Colin and Dave are doing things midweek. Ted, see if Ted's doing anything ad hoc in a week, and of course Chris may do some gaming streams in the week. I don't know. Is he? I'm not sure if he's back at work or he's not at work. No, he's not at work, is he? He's furloughed, isn't he? So I mean, check on people's Facebook groups and obviously in the Boom Hut and the Co-op and Festus, and see what people are doing during the week. Anyway, I'm gonna go and play World of Warcraft for a little bit. In fact, I'm gonna get a cheese sandwich because I'm starving. Oh, Sarah Jane, Tuesday the great night. Thank you, Sarah Jane. We do try and make it funny. We do try and cheer people. The whole point of it, Phil's show, although it is quite a serious modelling show sometimes, it's not. All we're trying to do is entertain people and give people a bit of a laugh and something to do. It's what it's all about. At the end of the day, it's a community thing, and we're just trying to cheer people up, make people happy a little bit, So, although Phil is quite a serious model on the quiet, I was quite surprised at how serious and how good Phil actually is. He's good bloke. Anyway, don't sniff the glue, kids. Very good, Osric. Yeah, safety tip from Osric, who is now officially the Butcher That Models YouTube health and safety officer. There you go, Osric. You've got a job now, mate. You don't get paid, but you got a job. Osric is now health and safety officer. Don't sniff the glue, kids. Good, solid advice from health and safety there. Anyway, Next week, I shall be back on Thursday. I'll be back on Tuesday with Phil for more laughs and giggles and quiz. I think we're going to do another picture one. And there may even be a stream theme. We don't know. What live stream are they doing on Saturday now? Yeah, what are you doing? Who's doing what on Saturday? Who's doing what live stream doing on Saturday now? Don't know. Anyway, Nat's going to type in chat what's happening. I'm going to go. Fox won't be following this now. He's doing proper job. See, he's doing his e-model stuff. So, which is very highbrow, professional, and has editing and all sorts of posh stuff. So Fox is busy doing that. So I think the next one is Chris tonight, isn't it? So I'll probably be in the chat just to pull his leg a little bit. That's a nice idea. That is a very nice idea. Stream with the kids. It's nice to see, you know, kids getting involved in the hobby, because at the end of the day, that's the future. And if we don't encourage new people and teenagers and children, you know, and teenagers and that, if we don't encourage them to take up the hobby, will be the end of it. It is a dying hobby, and it's a shame. It's a dying skill and a dying hobby. But with people like Nat around, it's not going to, is it? So anyway, that's my mission. I'm going to set you all the same mission. Try and get somebody new into modelling. I'm doing it with Mike, who's the other butcher at work that started at our place. He was in his early 20s, and he's a cracker. He's a nice lad. And this is what this has been about, is showing Mike, this is how you glue things together now, mate. It's a lot easier than trying to explain it to him. You just show somebody, it's a lot easier. So anyway, that's mine. Mike, I'm going to get him under my wing, and he will be a model maker soon, whether he likes it or not. So anyway, do that. Try and encourage people to join the hobby and getting, you know, it's dying. No what? Model making took it depends on what they're doing now. I have a couple of expensive kits. They could finish the Titanic for you. They could. Anyway, I'm going to go then. So, everybody, keep safe. When you're going outside, wear a mask. The most dangerous place in the world, apparently, is a supermarket. I've got to go back to work somewhere. Anyway, so, wear a mask. And don't forget, it's a very, very nasty virus going around. So wash your hands and keep the change, you filthy animals. And I'll see you on Tuesday. All right? Bye. You've got to encourage them, Lewis, that they are the future. They are the future. Anyway, see you on Tuesday.